At my absolute worst, I remember feeling as though my body was just shutting down and giving up, and I actually believed that I was going to die. It's really difficult to say when the symptoms started because they come on so gradually, and you kind of make allowances for it at first. You think, oh, maybe I'm just tired because I didn't sleep very well last night, or I've had a busy week at work. And eventually it gets to a point where you think, hang on a minute, this isn't normal. Why am I still so tired? So I think the symptoms that I started with, or everyone says, is fatigue. You just feel so tired all the time. There'd be days where I'd wake up and even though I'd had a full 8 hours sleep, I just didn't feel like I'd slept at all. And then a lot of the other symptoms started to creep in. I'd be getting dizzy, lightheaded. My legs would ache just walking. I'd be getting mouth ulcers, one after the other. Headaches. I'm involved in a community interest company called Outcast Panda Crew. We teach young adults, 14 to 24, how to repair cars to try and tackle antisocial behaviour. I wasn't really able to be involved much right at the beginning because I was so ill. And even though I guess you could say I'm in recovery, I don't have enough energy to be able to fully commit. We're open 3 nights a week, but I can only realistically manage 1. Cars are a passion of mine, and I'm really proud to be involved with Outcast Panda Crew and what we do. But in my opinion, not getting the correct treatment is preventing me from being able to commit as much time as I might like to. B12 deficiency runs in the family. So there's a few people already have the injections, and my grandparents were saying it could be that, so go get checked. So I did. I had the blood test. It came back as though my B12 was marginally low. So my GP said he would run the test again just to confirm it. The second test was exactly on the borderline between low and normal. He said because of that, he couldn't give me injections, so he prescribed me tablets instead. I was given 50 microgram tablets to take twice a day for the first 2 months. He said if I don't feel any better after that, then come back. And I didn't. I kept getting worse. I remember having a conversation with my mum who'd been through a similar thing to me, and she developed a lot of neurological symptoms, and one of them being pins and needles. I'd imagine when she described it to me, it was that feeling where you fall asleep on your arm and you get that quite sharp sort of pain. And I was expecting that, but I started noticing this really subtle tingling. So I spoke to Mum. I said, when you had that symptom, what did it actually feel like? And she said, oh, it was quite subtle. Oh, I've got that symptom as well. So I went back and saw the GP again and said, look, I seem to be having these neurological symptoms, same as what my mum had. I've read the guidelines and they're pretty explicit that it needs to be treated with injections. The GP said, I can't give you injections until I've spoke to a specialist. But it's in the guidelines. It's in black and white. I never heard back from him after that. So I had to make another appointment. And that's when they looked at the computer. We've been recommended to refer you to neurology. So yeah, we'll do that. And if you want to increase your tablets, you can do. You can take more of them. But the rest of my family have injections with the same symptoms. So why can't I have them? Oh, we can try them if you want. Right, okay. But I can only give you 1 a week for 4 weeks because you've already had the tablets. And if the nurse asks, tell them that's why we've done it. The nurse did ask, and she couldn't understand why I wasn't given every other day for 2 weeks, which is the standard treatment. I thought, I can try them. If they work, at least then I know that they're working, and that's probably the issue. And I did. I started to improve, slowly. But once I'd had that 4th injection, I started to go downhill again, rapidly. So I went back, saw another GP, said, look, the guidelines say with neurological symptoms every other day till no further improvement. Well, I can't have that. No, you can't have that, you'll overdose. Okay, but it's in the guidelines. I ended up writing a 14-page letter of complaint. I included a lot of things from NICE, from the BNF, from the NHS website, and made my case. I was told that I couldn't have that many injections because they were at risk of being criticised by a specialist, and there weren't enough appointments anyway. Those guidelines are just a guide. The people who write them don't take into account the pressures that surgeries are under. They were still doing COVID jabs, they were doing flu jabs, and they had nurses that were on sick and simply couldn't do it. So instead of giving me them every 12 weeks as the maintenance dose, so they could bring them forward to every 8 weeks. And then they'd monitor my blood level in between, try and get me from the lower half of normal into the upper half of normal. But what about my symptoms? The guidelines say every other day until my symptoms stop improving. Well, we'll try this and we'll see how it goes. A few weeks later, I went on sick for 4 months. So I really didn't want to go on sick. I wanted to be at work and doing something. I don't like sitting around. But every day was becoming more of a struggle. I'd be going to work, doing as much as I could, getting home, and just going straight to bed. Eventually I just gave in, ended up going on sick, and continued to get worse. There were days where I just could not get out of bed. There was just no energy at all. Even things like going downstairs to make a drink, that was it. That was my day. I couldn't do any more than that. At my absolute worst, I remember feeling as though my body was just shutting down and giving up. And I actually believed that I was going to die. I saw Charlotte's video in the B12 deficiency support group, and I remember watching it and thinking, that sounds very similar to what I've been going through. And I thought, they're still refusing to give me every other day injections until my neurological symptoms stop improving. I've tried arguing, I've tried complaining. What else have I got left? When I saw that video from Slater and Gordon, I thought, they've done this before, they've laid the groundwork, who better to go with? I sent an email to Slater and Gordon late one night, expecting I might hear back in maybe a month. It was actually the next morning, and they immediately got the ball rolling. I couldn't have been more impressed. If you think that you're having symptoms like fatigue, but it doesn't quite feel like it's a symptom, don't ignore it, because it will creep in, and it creeps in gradually. So one day you might think, oh, I just need to go to bed a bit earlier. A couple of months later, you'll be waking up feeling as though you haven't been to sleep at all, and that is a problem. Recognise that that is a problem. If you're getting pins and needles, quite subtle, especially in your legs, take note, because that is a symptom. So go speak to your GP, tell them what symptoms you're having, but be aware that the symptoms of B12 deficiency can also be the symptom of a number of things. A GP will, hopefully, look at everything. What I kind of did was I looked at all of the symptoms that I was having and going, what possible disease process could it be? And the only one that came up for every symptom I had was B12 deficiency. So I would look at it that way.